The question was ancient, as old as conflict itself. Who is the best fighter? Is it the boxer with his lightning-fast hands, the wrestler with his crushing control on the mat, or perhaps the karate master with his devastating kicks? For centuries, these arts existed in their own silos. They rarely crossed paths. Each discipline claimed superiority. Each believed its methods were the ultimate truth in combat. But these claims were untested. They were theories whispered in dojos and gyms, never proven in a real, no-holds-barred contest. This wasn't a new idea. It had roots deep in history. The ancient Greeks had pankration, a brutal mix of boxing and wrestling. In Brazil, the Gracie family was refining their own art. They called it jiu-jitsu. It was a system designed for a smaller person to defeat a larger one. They issued challenges. They fought Vale Tudo matches, anything goes, in the backrooms and gyms of Rio de Janeiro. The year was 1993, the place was Denver, Colorado. The event was called the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC 1. It was not a sport, it was a spectacle. To answer it, they gathered a strange collection of men. A kickboxer, a sumo wrestler, a karate expert, and a skinny Brazilian in a GI named Royce Gracie. He was not the biggest, he was not the strongest. To the casual observer, he looked like he didn't belong. The fights took place in an 8-sided cage. They called it the Octagon. The first fight was over in seconds. A giant Savate fighter faced a massive sumo wrestler. The wrestler Taylor Tooley charged. The Savate expert Gerard Gordeau kicked him in the face. A tooth flew into the crowd. Royce Gracie entered the cage. He was the unknown. His opponent was a boxer, Art Jimerson. Jimerson famously wore one boxing glove. He wanted to keep one hand free to tap out. He never got a chance to use either. Gracie took him to the ground. He wrapped him up like a snake. Jimerson was helpless. He had no answer for what was happening. He tapped out quickly. He did the same to Ken Shamrock, a fearsome wrestler. He did the same to Gerard Gordeau in the finals. He choked them all. He became the first UFC champion. The Dark Ages came quickly. The political pressure was immense. Politicians called it human cockfighting. Senator John McCain led a crusade to ban it. The UFC was banished from major venues and pay-per-view providers. It survived on the fringes, holding events in smaller towns, away from the spotlight. To survive, it had to change. It had to evolve from a spectacle into a sport. Rules were slowly introduced. Weight classes were created. Gloves became mandatory. Rounds and time limits were put in place. The goal was to gain sanctioning from state athletic commissions. It was a long, brutal fight for legitimacy. This was the era of the pioneers, men like Mark Coleman, the father of ground and pound. Men like Frank Shamrock, who became the prototype for the well-rounded fighter. They weren't just specialists anymore. They had to learn everything. They had to learn wrestling, striking, and submissions. The turning point came in 2001. Two casino magnates from Las Vegas, Frank and Lorenzo Fertitta, bought the struggling UFC. They installed their friend Dana White as the president. That push came in the form of a reality television show. It was called The Ultimate Fighter. It was the company's last gamble. The season finale featured a fight between Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar. It was not the most technical fight, but it was all heart. For 3 rounds, they battled with everything they had. The fight was a legend. The Ultimate Fighter finale opened the floodgates. MMA was no longer a secret. It was a sensation. A new generation of stars was born. Chuck the Iceman Liddell, with his mohawk and devastating knockout power, became the sport's first true rock star. Randy the Natural Couture, an aging warrior, defied time to win titles in 2 weight classes. Georges St. Pierre, the Canadian superstar, became the gold standard for professionalism and technical mastery. The business grew at an incredible pace. The UFC bought its biggest rival, Pride FC. The company expanded across the globe. A young Irish plumber named Conor McGregor talked his way into the spotlight and then backed it up with spectacular knockouts. He became the biggest star the sport had ever seen. Women entered the cage and proved they were just as fierce. Ronda Rousey, an Olympic judoka, became a dominant champion. She won fights in seconds with her signature armbar. The sport was now truly for everyone. It was on major television networks like Fox and ESPN. Fighter pay grew. The production value of the events rivaled any major sporting league in the world. Today, MMA stands as a titan of the sports world. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Its champions are global icons. The question of which style is best has been answered. The answer is all of them. A modern mixed martial artist must be a master of every discipline. From the brutal Vale Tudo matches in Brazil to the sold-out arenas of today, the journey has been remarkable. It was a fight for survival, a fight for respect, a fight for a place in the world, and it is a fight that has been decisively won. The cage is now a fixture, the sport is here to stay.